Guys, welcome back to the Anfield View. Paul here. Quick video for you guys, really responding to the friendly yesterday. Liverpool 4, Sunderland 2. Some great performances from the youngsters in that game. And you're always a little bit hesitant coming into that friendly. And to be honest, pre-season in general, in terms of with so few sort of attacking options. You were left sort of scratching your head to some extent as to, well, what does this mean for Liverpool, just in general? But also, we got that question mark coming into the season as to, we can't play Isaac every single game. Um, yeah, heartening performances really from Ravel Morrison, from Trainioni, from Leone, from Kumas. I think ultimately, one thing I think we can all agree on, yeah, is the fact that in all likelihood, we're going to see more youth players used this year than last year. I think that's an absolute given. Let's be honest. We were all clamoring for Rio to at least get some more games than what he did. Training only should have got far more minutes than what he did. And there should have been some other players that really had a chance at some more minutes, given just how abject we were last season. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a very heartening performance. I think the thing that pleases me the most, it really is the style of play, more so in the second half, really, with the press being really sort of led by Sobo's but really a lot more aggression, a lot more passion, a lot more fight. I know it's a friendly, but really a lot more, basically stylistically, a lot more Liverpool. And so, look, we don't know where the club's going to fall in terms of the transfer market. And I'll come to that bit in a minute. But at the end of the day, is the real sort of green tick for me is great. Yeah, always good to see some youngsters playing well. What that equals, time will tell over the next few friendlies, and equally over the next 12 months. I've been watching Liverpool friendlies enough over the years to see many a player rip up the pre-season and play well, and then never see a minute during the season. And so, try not to get too far ahead of myself on that, but really what I was pleased, especially in the second half, was really the style and the seeing the pressing back and just being a lot more taking it to the opposition. And we were just so passive last season. And I was talking with somebody today about Liverpool and what happened with Slán is that look, he took over a team that was finely tuned, that had been running and gunning for 10 years, but equally were a little bit tired. And so when he came in, his more strategic approach, a little bit more reserved approach, worked like a dream for Liverpool. The adjustments that you had that slot made worked like a dream until February of that season. And he's very lucky with injuries. He was playing sort of 14 players. The problem is that he ran those 14 players into the ground. And eventually, what happened is that the lack of training, all the things that I had sort of worked for 60 65% of the season, unfortunately unraveled towards the end of it. And the reality is that that approach really worked for 65% of one season, and there was enough to get us a title, but it was awful towards the end of that, and it was awful throughout the whole of last season. So I'm hoping that this style is far more in line with obviously who we are and in terms of our identity, is going to put a lot more pressure on opposition. And can you imagine how hard it will be to play us at home when we're really pushing the opposition back and really taking the fight to them and with a lot more passion, a lot more aggression, a lot more strategic. And it's just more who we are. Opponents should be frightened of playing us at Anfield. It shouldn't just be, oh, this is easy. And you can't just put all the factors down to the fact that we had unmitigating circumstances and stuff. No, it was the style was a big factor as well. When you're so passive and sitting off so much of opposition, you're inviting them on you. So we've got so yeah, so a pleasing start to the preseason. Obviously, what we have to really address is the injury to Joe Gomez again. In one hand, we invite it on ourselves. We keep injury-prone players around over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Why do we keep them? Fundamentally, because it saves us money. Let's be honest. Look, we all love Joe Gomez, and he's a great player when fit. It's been years since he's really had a proper season. And ultimately, we just don't want to invest in the squad depth that you really need to, and we spin the wheel of fortune of chance when it comes to fitness each and every year. And if it comes up trumps, we have a good year, and if it doesn't, we have a bad year. And it's because we just will not invest enough to have the depth that's there. I mean, ultimately, should we really be relying on Joe Gomez to be fit at this point in the, after so many injuries? No, not really. We should have so much depth in our squad that we're able to let Joe Gomez go. But it feels like we're clinging on to Joe Gomez because we haven't got anybody. I mean, we already need a centre back and another right back to really help support Xhaka and Leone and Adrian Van Dijk. Can you imagine if we let Gomez go? But the reality is Gomez is only going to be fit for 30% of the season. So, yeah, I mean, I feel for Gomez. I really do feel for Joe Gomez because it's not his fault. It's not. But equally, the club has to also look after themselves. And it's just like, okay, so we're going to have a small squad, and then we're going to make the small squad that we've already got even smaller by carrying Gomez and Bradley. We used to carry Kanate as well, and it's like, yeah, you can't have a small squad and then carry injury-prone players at the same time. If you've got a massive squad, and then fair dues, carry them as much as you like, but you can't have one and that at the same time. So you've got a small squad in one hand, and then you're going to carry blatantly injury-prone players that have had injuries for years and years and years, and you can almost predict when it's going to happen now. Sadly, it's not their fault. It's not their fault, but equally, we have a small squad then, and but intrinsically, you can look at the number of our squad and then essentially take it down to or take it down two or three every single season. I keep hearing year after year, Cade Gordon, Connor Bradley, Joe Gomez. It was Canate as well. It's like, dear God, how many players do we have to keep carrying in the squad number? It's like we need to come into a season with players that are, we've already got question marks on how we're going to keep Isaac fit, for example. And so, as I say, my question mark with most of the Liverpool squad isn't the ability of the players. The question mark, is we need to look. I've got no issue keeping Gomez, but we badly need to wake up and smell the coffee. I mean, we should have smelled it 3 years ago. It's just like, look, I love him as a player, but man alive, really? How many times does he have to get injured for us never to actually invest enough in this squad? It's not injuries with Liverpool are not unlucky because we everybody gets injuries. We just don't invest enough in the depth of the squad to actually be able to cope with the injuries. Everybody gets injuries. There isn't a team that doesn't get injuries. It's just simple, on that front. So it was sad. That was a real sort of downer on yesterday. Obviously, great to see Leone come back, and hopefully we see obviously Xhaka in the future weeks as well. And then obviously a little bit of a side note. Obviously, you've seen that everybody would have maybe seen Diamande is left and joined Real Madrid. Wow, didn't see that one coming. It's a bizarre one because Real Madrid have got like what was it the Turkish Messi and Elder. They've got Eldrick. They've got obviously Vinicius Vinny Jr. as well. They've got Mbappe. I mean, look, he's young, and I mean, look for him, it's obviously a great move. I don't know. I mean, look, if they sell Vinny Jr., then I mean, maybe, but maybe he's just a backup to him. Well, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense for them at this point unless they loan him back. I don't really get it. I don't really get it for me. I think Real Madrid's problems have been the fact that they've not really ever replaced Modric and Cruz. And ever since they've sort of moved on, I don't think the midfields have been anywhere near as good. I think the problem is the team dynamic. Obviously, the fallings out Vinny and Mbappe and with the club and everyone else, and I think the defense isn't good enough either. Um, yeah, I mean, look, he's moved. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think we were remotely close to getting him at any point, which is fine because I always said, and I've said in this channel many a time, my preference has always been for Barkley. Rumor is that they want 145 million. I mean, it's just insanity. I think he's probably worth 100 to 115 million. I think, given the fees that other people were going for, I think it's fair enough. I mean, you're seeing average players go for, I think something from Crystal Palace went for 50 odd million. I didn't even know he was even there. You're seeing almost, not bargain, but any old player in the Premier League going for 60. I'd say, I think Barkley's worth 100, 115. The market's just gone is elevated. Verts this year will probably be worth 160. That's how well the market is not obviously based on last year, but based on the previous form. So yeah, so that's where we're at, guys. What dominoes are going to fall this week? We shall see. I think Liverpool playing. Is it playing on Wednesday? Is it Leeds on Wednesday? I'll be interested to see what the lineup is, on that front. So yeah, main things to really take away from the friendly, the style of play. It's good to see the tactics. You can really see the imprint that Iraola's already put down. Wonder strike from Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai just doing what Szoboszlai does. And all credit to obviously Sunderland as well. They got an attacking midfielder that hit hell of a goal as well for them. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously we've got in probably about a week and a half's time. We've got some players obviously coming back into the fold. Some of the senior players. I don't think we're going to see Gakpo for a few weeks, obviously due to the sad situation for him. I'm not going to see Muniz, I don't think, until after the start of the first game, because obviously being with Spain. Yeah, I mean, obviously the players to come back would be McAllister probably won't be back for a while. And now, obviously, with him being in the final, you're really looking at Gravenberch coming back, aren't you, at some point relatively soon. Allison, obviously, because obviously Holland and Brazil, so you're looking at Allison, Gravenberch. I mean, yesterday you had Kirk, I mean, obviously you had Virgil as well. You've already got Kirk as back. You had Frimpong played okay. I'd like to see Liverpool. I mean, look, it's pre-season friendly, so look, I'd just like to see Frimpong be fit. Really, it'd be nice for him to just stay fit as he used to be. Obviously in Germany, just so we can see exactly what he can or can't do. Look, I appreciate he's more of a wing back. He's not really the right back solution. He's more of a wing back, sort of a bit of a backup plan, really on the right. I think as a squad player, he's fine. Ultimately, I'd rather see a bit more of Chiesa this season. Strategic. I mean, he ultimately, considering other players were playing worse, he didn't really get a fair crack of the whip. But then nor did Jones either. So there's drawing the queue, isn't it? Really, nor did Tranioni. Rio didn't really get enough minutes. Don't need to rehash last year. Let's move on, guys. So yeah, there's a bit of synopsis. Yeah, stayed up, watched the game. Overall, yeah, I'd say my takeaway, really more impressed to see Iriola's in sort of footprint already really working on the team. Good to see some of the youngsters. Let's see how they kick on to the other pre-season friendlies. Let's see if there's ever going to be a transfer appearing in any time soon. Who knows? If you got a coin, flick it in a well for us. But I haven't, honestly, I ain't got clues. But it feels like a lifetime since we bought Muniz. Jesus, it feels like everybody's doing the transfers bar us at the moment. So who knows? Honestly, I'm scratching my head. We seem to be linked with every man and his dog, but yet the realities are nothing's really that tangible. A lot of it is hype. So what the reality of who we're being linked with, it is usually Liverpool move pretty quickly on the ones that they really are interested in. So ones that tend to drag endlessly. Unless you're obviously in a situation where you've been, obviously want the Isak one, but most of the time Liverpool move pretty quickly for people that they really, 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 really want on that, guys. So yeah, great to hear your thoughts. Feel free to drop a like, subscribe, hype, all of that. Hope you enjoyed the game yesterday. Let's get on to the next pre-season friendly. Fingers crossed, Joe Gomez becomes fit again soon. Fingers crossed we have somebody else also in the defence as a bit of a backup and to at least acknowledge the fact that we are carrying a serious injury with Bradley. So who knows when he'll be back and how long it will take for him to come up to speed. Who knows what Gomez will can and can't do, can or can't do. And without that, you're really looking at basically Jones and Soblazai having to do exactly what they did last year, which is essentially play at right back to really act as cover in the situation if things go wrong with any of the players. So would rather not. Let's try and keep Soblazai where he's meant to be, and let's keep Jones where he's meant to be. Rather have Jones rotating with McAllister if he stays, rather than being shoved at right back every 5 seconds. But we shall see, guys. I'll drop a quick review after the next preseason friendly as well. And yeah, look forward to hearing your thoughts. Speak to you more soon. Take care.